Well, it was some run to the final of the Darts World Cup for Wales as Johnny Clayton and Gerwyn Price, of course, yes, losing in the final to Northern Ireland in what was quite the story, but the fact that they were able to go further than the likes of England, for example, and the Netherlands in this Darts World Cup just shows how good of a pairing Johnny Clayton and Gerwyn Price are in the current world of darts. Lots to discuss, of course, with the tournament itself, and of course the disappointment of losing in the final. But I think if we focus on the positives, because I think as you have to for Wales when they're against such big opposition, getting that far in the tournament, I think deserves an awful lot of credit. We can go now to our Wales sport correspondent, Charles Hague-Jones. Charles, obviously there is disappointment, as I mentioned there, losing in the final. Not what Wales would have wanted, not what Johnny Clayton would have wanted, not what Gerwyn Price would have wanted, but getting further than some of the big darts nations surely stands in good stead, and both for them as a nation and for their respective individual careers this season. Of course, Gerwyn Price, he picked up a few night wins in the Premier League this year. Johnny Clayton, obviously not part of the Premier League, but decent in the World Championship. So lots to be positive about, I guess, from a Wales point of view in Welsh darts. And then how do they build on this as well, both individually and together as a pairing in the time going forward? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously an incredibly strong campaign from Gerwyn Price and Johnny Clayton of Wales. Seeded number 2, obviously, they're fantastic in the World Cup. They've won it twice over the last 5 years. They've been unbelievable in the competition, also getting to another final as well. And their road to the final, they were flying through sides. They lost in that incredible last leg decider against Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland winning it for their first ever time. I mean, the sort of collaborative effort between Josh Rock and Darrell Gurney was fantastic to see as well. And I'm sure, fair play to Gerwyn Price. He gets this sort of bad rep at times, but you saw him clapping on that stage. You saw him understanding and appreciating the quality of darts that was in that final leg. Probably the best World Cup final we've ever seen. Maybe bar England, Australia all those years ago. But an incredible final, an incredible competition. You feel in the early rounds it probably wasn't given as much coverage in terms of the tickets sold, etc. But Wales go into every single World Cup of darts, every pairs competition. The bond that Price and Clayton have together, the form, the consistency they both have is unbelievable. I mean, going into the tournament, Clayton was with a European Tour title and the highest of world ranking that he's ever been, and then Price with multiple Players' Championship wins and Premier League final appearances as well, plenty of 9 darters in the Premier League as well. So an amazing sort of bond. And obviously you touch on there, England. Yes, England were incredibly disappointing, and I think England needs to take a leaf out of Wales's book and actually look at the collective effort, the team togetherness they have that really gets them over the line. I mean, the team strength that Clayton brings a bit of consistency, while Price really goes raw power. And I feel this is simply one of the strongest duos. You sort of saw that with the likes of Phil Taylor and Adrian Lewis. The reason why they won so many World Cup titles is you have one calm and you have one who sort of goes for it a bit more, and that is Clayton and Price to a T. I feel that they have to be favourites going into pretty much every World Cup now. They've made another final. They've obviously had multiple wins under their belts. I mean, it just shows where Welsh darts are at the moment. They are one of the best sides. They are one of the most well represented nations in the sport. Wants the best out of Gerwyn Price. He's a real character on the stage, and he has this pantomime villain sort of act, but a lovely guy behind closed doors. And Wales are represented so well. Yes, a bit disappointing they didn't get over the line, but I'm sure there's not really much you can do with the 11 dart leg in that World Cup final to decide it. It's going to be an interesting year. There's still plenty of big tournaments, plenty of majors to come, and both of them are going to really have a good go at them. And this World Cup is something that Wales have brought to the forefront of darts, and long may that continue.